Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going into, well, a really foundational text. It's dramatic, significant. It's Genesis chapter 21. We'll be looking closely at specific parts of this ancient story, almost like blueprints, to pull out the deep human experiences, the surprises, the things that still feel relevant. Our mission for you is to get past just the surface reading. We want to help you really grasp these key moments, the laughter, the tears, even the ancient deal-making. It's fascinating stuff. Ready? Okay, let's kick off with arguably the biggest moment of joy here. Isaac's birth. A miracle, really. I mean, think about it. Decades they waited. The odds were impossible. Sarah, way past the usual age, gets pregnant. She has a son for Abraham, just like God promised. And Abraham, he's 100 years old. It's more than just fulfilling a promise. It feels like God showing, look, what seems impossible to you isn't. And the name Isaac means laughter. It's just perfect. Sarah herself says, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. You feel that joy, that release. But there's also this note of almost disbelief, isn't there?
She adds, "Who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age." It's that mix of wonder and maybe shock, and critically, Abraham circumcises Isaac on the 8th day, as commanded.
Yeah, and the weight of that moment, it's huge. It's not just a baby being born. This is the promise made years ago, finally becoming real, tangible. This specific child, Isaac, he's the one. The lineage, the whole future Abraham was promised, it flows through him. And the circumcision you mentioned, that's not just incidental. That 8th-day ritual, it's the physical sign of the covenant. It marks Isaac right from the start as the chosen heir. It's a powerful statement about identity for him and everyone after. And Sarah's laughter, it captures everything, doesn't it? The relief, the joy after so long.
It really does. But wow, things turned quickly. That incredible joy. It leads to something incredibly painful, especially for Abraham. So Isaac grows, he's weaned, and Abraham throws this big feast, celebration. But right in the middle of it, Sarah sees Ishmael, that's Hagar the Egyptian's son, Abraham's first son, and the text says Ishmael was mocking. Now, what exactly that means, we could debate, but Sarah's perception of it, that's what lights the fuse. Her reaction is instant and harsh. She goes straight to Abraham and demands, get rid of that slave woman and her son. She says, for that woman's son will never share in the inheritance with my son Isaac. Wow, no ambiguity there. And you could just feel Abraham's pain. The text is clear. The matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. His son.
Oh, absolutely. It's gut-wrenching for him. And what's fascinating, maybe even a bit jarring, is God's response. Abraham is clearly torn up, but God tells him essentially, don't be so distressed about the boy and Hagar. Listen to Sarah. He says, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. It seems on one level to validate Sarah's demand, but I think it's more about clarifying the specific covenant line. Things had become complicated, right? With 2 sons. This makes the primary inheritance path clear, Isaac. But, and this is so important, God doesn't just cast Ishmael aside. He immediately makes another promise, specifically about him. He says, I will make the son of the slave into a nation also because he is your offspring. So you have this dual destiny. Both are Abraham's offspring. Both have a divinely promised future, but through separate paths. It sets up this incredible tension, this painful separation, but also God's provision for both.
And Abraham follows through. It's depicted so starkly. Early the next morning, he gets some food, a skid of water. He gives them to Hagar, puts them on her shoulders, and sends her and the boy away, just like that. She ends up wandering lost in the desert of Beersheba. And then comes maybe the most heartbreaking scene. The water runs out. She's desperate. She puts Ishmael under a bush because she can't bear to watch him die. She sits down. The text says about a bow shot away, just thinking, I cannot watch the boy die. And she starts sobbing. It's just raw parental anguish.
It is. And right at that absolute lowest point, that's when God steps in again. It says, God hears the boy crying. And the angel calls to Hagar from heaven. What is the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. That's quite specific, isn't it? Hearing the boy. And then the angel repeats the promise. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation. Reinforcing Ishmael's future right there in the desert. And then this amazing detail. God opened Hagar's eyes and she saw a well of water.
Is it already there?
Exactly. It implies the well was there all along. She just couldn't see it in her despair. Her immediate crisis wasn't a lack of resources necessarily, but a lack of perception maybe, overwhelmed by fear.
Wow.
So she fills the skin, gives the boy a drink. They survive. It's this powerful image of provision being present, needing only opened eyes to see it. And it shows God's care, his promises extending beyond just Isaac's line. It reaches Ishmael too, fulfilling that word about him becoming a nation.
And the narrative confirms it. God was with Ishmael. He grows up there in the desert, becomes an archer, thrives in that environment. And later, his mother gets him a wife from her home country, Egypt. He settles in the desert of Paran, his own future starting. So While Ishmael's path unfolds, Abraham's dealing with, well, other realities, securing his own family's future, not just family drama, but practical politics. We shift scenes to Abraham interacting with the local leader, Abimelech, and Phikoth, his army commander. And Abimelech starts by saying something quite telling: God is with you in everything you do. So Abraham's reputation, his divine blessing, it's recognized by the local power struckers. Abimelech basically wants a non-aggression pact. He asks Abraham to swear he won't deal falsely with him or his descendants. He asks for kindness, reciprocity, essentially. And Abraham agrees immediately. I swear it. Seems straightforward enough.
It does, but it highlights the reality of Abraham's situation. He's a foreigner, powerful perhaps, but still needing to navigate relationships with local rulers carefully. And then the real issue surfaces, a very practical one: water. Abraham complains as Abimelech's servants seized one of his wells.
The well. Crucial in the desert.
Absolutely critical. The control of water sources meant survival, prosperity. It was a major source of potential conflict. So this isn't a minor complaint. Abimelech pleads ignorance. I don't know who did this, he says. You never told me. I only heard about it today. Now, whether that's entirely true or just diplomatic maneuvering, it does open the door to resolving this peacefully. No direct blame needs to be assigned.
Right. So they make a treaty. Abraham gives Abimelech sheep and cattle, a standard part of sealing an agreement back then. But then there's this extra step. Abraham sets aside 7 ewe lambs, separately. What's going on with the 7 lambs? Why that specific gesture?
That's a great observation. It's clearly symbolic. Abimelech even asks him, what's the meaning of these 7 lambs you've set apart? And Abraham spells it out. Accept these 7 lambs from my hand as a witness that I dug this well. So these lambs serve as public, physical evidence, a living testimony to Abraham's claim and their agreement about the well. And the number 7, well, it often carried connotations of completeness, of covenant, of oath-taking in that ancient world. It makes the agreement solid, publicly witnessed.
And that act directly leads to the name of the place. So that place was called Beersheba, which, as you said, means well of the oath, because the 2 men swore an oath there. The name itself becomes a permanent reminder of the treaty.
Exactly. It really shows Abraham acting wisely, not just as a patriarch, but as a diplomat, securing vital resources in peace. After the treaty's done, Abimelech and Philol head back to their territory, the land of the Philistines, and Abraham. He does something significant, too. He plants the tamarisk tree there in Beersheba, a long-living tree, perhaps symbolizing permanence. And it says he called on the name of the Lord, the eternal God there. Acknowledging God's hand, even in this very practical political resolution, he then stays in that region for a long time, suggesting this treaty brought a period of stability grounded in that oath, that well.
So when we step back from Genesis 21, it's quite a journey, isn't it? All these threads. You have the sheer miracle of Isaac's birth, God's promise finally tangibly fulfilled. Then the really difficult, heartbreaking family split, Hagar and Ishmael sent away, but then God's direct intervention and provision for them too. And finally, this very grounded, necessary act of diplomacy over a well in Beersheba. Laughter, tears, and treaties all in one chapter.
It really is a microcosm of so much. You see these huge themes playing out: destiny, covenant, divine promises meeting human reality. But it's all through very human stories, very relatable emotions: joy, jealousy, fear, desperation, pragmatism. It shows how these personal lives, these individual choices and crises, are woven into a much larger narrative God is unfolding. It really connects the divine plan with the often messy, complex experience of being human, doesn't it? Which maybe leads to a final thought for you listening. Think about how these different kinds of events, the miraculous, the painful, the practical, all knit together here. A birth, an expulsion, a treaty over water. How does seeing them intertwined in this ancient story make you reflect on the connections between your own relationships, your challenges, your successes, and perhaps a larger sense of purpose or destiny in your own life? Something to consider.